the recording. And then one more thing. In video. I'm just muting all of us for good recording sound quality. You can get started in constructive rest. You can have the balls handy if you have a set. And once you're situated, begin to find your foundation here. And it can be either at the feet, or you can sense as well the way that your sacrum is touching the earth. So you can pick either location as a way to focus your attention into the body. And just getting a sense of how this place meets support, meets the earth, and using a long sigh through the mouth as a way to help ground you. And it's your choice for the practice. If you'd like to have the camera on, I love it when students have the camera on because it helps me to stay connected to you and to see if my instructions are landing well. Uh, so that's really helpful. But if you are a bit shy, a lot of times people have the camera on and then they move around and I don't see them anymore. But that's okay as well. So once you have taken a few breaths in that place of grounding, just begin to shift into that wider perspective where you're observing your body sense. Arriving back into this awareness of your body. And in order to sense it in an organized way, you can scan through the body part by part. So feeling into one part at a time, and challenge yourself as you scan to notice not just the loud sensations, but also the more subtle sensations. Notice the places that feel good, as well as the places that might need a little bit more care today. And since today we are focusing on stimulating, massaging, and soothing the abdominal region, once you've scanned through all the parts, land into this awareness of your belly and see if you can sense any movement of your natural breath here. Just what feels present here in this place of intuition. And then also noticing just the quality of your breathing this evening or this afternoon. Notice the quality of your mental space. your emotional space. And then what is your intention for practicing? What inner qualities would you like to connect with in your practice? And then when you're ready, you can place your hands on your belly. Just having the sense of touch here can help us to feel this area more easily and cultivate a conscious. Sometimes when the breath is more restricted, we might not easily feel the inhalation going down into the lower body. So see if you can consciously allow the inhalation to move down into your belly, into your pelvis, into your low back. And then when you exhale, you can sigh it out. And when we're able to come into this belly breath, it can restore the nervous system from a place of arousal into a place of rest and digest. And we're going to start the self massage. So you can choose to use the balls on the skin, or you can use your fingers to massage. And we're going to start out tracing the belly space along the colon. So on the lower right part, we're going to start, and then we're going to go up the right part of the abdomen, and then we're going to go across underneath the rib cage, and then we'll go down on the left side. So you can take your either your ball or your fingers into the lower part of your right side of your belly. You're using your fingers. I like to do a little bit of an angle, and I just kind of dig in, and then you could start to massage in a circular pattern. The balls have kind of like a grippy surface that can grab the skin. And so with the balls, what I like to do is I use the exhale. So when I exhale, I'll guide the ball down into the belly, and then I'll twist the ball on the skin, and it creates perfusion, a slide and glide action in all the tissues there. And you can hold that and just take some breaths into that weird stretch sensation. And so we keep progressing up through this right side of the belly. So you can just move up with the balls or with your circular motion with your fingers. And so there's maybe roughly 3 balls length of space here, depending on how long our torso is. So maybe 3 spots here on this right side. And then the last piece is you could do with your fingers, you can make a fist and you can drag from the lower part of your belly all the way up on this right side. And you can explore doing that with a ball, maybe rolling with the ball. It doesn't glide on the skin as well, it kind of sticks to the skin. Good. And then after you've done the right side of your belly, you can go across. And Before we go across with the massage using those techniques, we can palpate for the diaphragm as well here. So you can take your fingers to the angle of your ribs, so that bottom edge of your ribs, one on each side. And then you can walk your fingers internally into the bottom and towards the inner edge of the ribs. And then you could kind of dig in and see if you can feel your inhale and exhale here. And this gives us a sense of what's going on with our diaphragm here. Sometimes might feel tender. Sometimes it might feel, a little bit more easeful. So getting a sense of the tone of your diaphragm. And then once you've taken maybe 3 breaths with that palpation towards the underside of your ribs, you can release that. And then massaging in a circle or with a twist with the balls on the right upper part of your abdomen. And allow the breath to respond to your massage. So sometimes when I do this, I might feel like a deeper breath is coming. So I'll allow that to happen. Maybe I feel like sighing, using that mouth exhale to cultivate a deeper movement in the diaphragm. And then about 3 places on the upper part of the abdomen. So right on the right side, the middle, and then over to the left. And then you can drag the fist as well to stimulate the movement of the colon, dragging the fist from the right side over to the left. Maybe 5 times with that dragging motion with your fists. And then you could even take a pause in between the massages just to track how you feel this sensations in this part of the body changes. And then you can start the descending colon massage. So from the upper left side of your belly, you could again do circles with fingers. You could do this thing with the balls, twist and breathe. Then same thing, there's about maybe 3 spots on this left side. After you massage the 3 spots, you can use the fists and drag the fists from the top part of the left side all the way down. And then last piece is use your hands here and you can just grab the skin of the belly and the center and just kind of grab and pull and move it around. So get more movement into the center of the abdomen. And then another technique that comes from the massage world here is called skin rolling, where you gather the skin and you push it with your thumbs so that the roll kind of slides across your viscera. And that can be very soothing on the nervous system as well. So try to demonstrate it lying or sitting up. It's a little hard to make it roll, but you're kind of grabbing the roll and then you're pushing it across and then you're gathering it up with your fingertips on the other side. So you push with your thumb and then you gather and roll the excess skin basically across. And you can roll it at different angles, like it doesn't have to be straight up and down. And then release the self massage. And again, just feel, noticing what you sense here in the belly now. Good. And then you can hug your knees in, and you can use one, you can hug both knees, or you can hug one knee at a time. So your choice. And as you inhale, you can guide the thighs, the knees away. As you exhale, you can hug in. Let's do a total of maybe 4 on each side if you're doing one leg. So if you're doing one leg, once you've done 4, you can switch. And then you have the option of turning the head as you move the thighs away, and then turning the head back to center as you hug the knees in. And if you're doing the one side switch, and when you're even with the amount of movement on both sides, go ahead and lower both of your feet back down. This time, keep the feet together and keep the knees bent. And then you can open your arms wide on the floor. Look over towards your right hand and turn your right arm externally so that you're flipping your thumb towards the floor, and then turn your left arm internally. And then you can look over to the right side, and then you would drop both of your knees over to the left. And that's your inhale. When you exhale, take everything back to the starting position, arms, legs. And then look over to your other side, left side, externally rotate here, internally rotate the other arm, drop the knees away from your gaze. And just move in a rhythmic fashion with your head turning to one side, your legs falling over to the other, and you're spinning your arm bones in opposing directions. Nice and steady as a way to loosen up the connective tissue on the side body, between your ribs, between your scapula. Good. Once you finish your second side, come back to center, take a pause here. And we'll do the last dynamic movement to loosen up the whole spine. So come on to the right side of your body. And if you can, you're resting your head on your right arm. And if not, support your head with your blanket. Both of your knees are bent and 90-degree shaped. And then you're stretching your top hand, your left hand straight out, palm down, and it's straight out in line with your heart. And then when you inhale, you're going to slide that left hand further out. Let it pull your head off the center, and your head will turn down towards the floor. Lift your top leg just as high as your hip socket, so just probably an inch or an inch and a half. And then swing the leg behind you with the knee bent. So this is your inhalation phase. The hand slides out, the arm swings back. And then as you exhale, swing your leg forward, turn your chest to the ceiling, and then reach your arm back behind you. And keep moving like that. As you inhale, you can reach forward with your hands and swing back with your leg. And when you exhale, you can swing forward with your leg and reach back with your hand. Go nice and slow and move in a range that feels good for your spine. So long, steady breath. Good. So maybe 5, 6 times in this on this side. Then coming back to the side, lying, take a pause and play with rolling over to your second side. So I like to do the dead bug one where I'll stick my arms and legs out, lift them up, roll over, and then roll over using core stability onto the second side. And then set yourself up like you did. Maybe the head goes on the bottom arm. If that's not comfortable for the shoulder, modify. Knees stacked on top of each other, legs stacked on top of each other. And your pace, your timing. When you're ready to go, explore. Sliding the top hand in line with the heart, letting it pull the head off midline, and then the leg swings back behind you. The tendency with the leg swing is for us to kind of lift the knee and the foot higher than the hip socket. So just keep it in line with the height of the hip socket. And the other tendency is that sometimes people tend to straighten the leg. And it's not wrong, it's just that when you straighten the leg, it actually rigidifies and makes it harder for you to get the spinal rotation and the spinal movement. So you can play and see what feels better for your body with the leg, with the knee bent, or with the leg straighter. So what I'm suggesting in this pose is using it to help get movement into the spine. Yeah, and then sometimes there's a place that's gonna feel really good to stay in, and you might choose to stay in that spot statically for a few breaths. So make this practice your own and keep listening to your body. And you can make little adjustments, variations that feel good for you. And then we'll slowly come back onto the side. And we're going to come into, you can come up to sitting. And we're coming into the main part of the sequence, which is building this pause after exhale, building the diaphragm stretch. Yeah. So the first pose is going to be crocodile, the belly down pose, where we want to put some pressure on the abdomen. And I'm hoping nobody had a big lunch. I just had dinner. So I'm using my one of my blankets and I'm folding it in half the long way to put my belly on. But you adjust the height of the of the pressure for your body. So we're going to build that exhale. So this is mine. And belly is on there. Pubic bone is off right at the edge. And you can support your head with the back of your hands or your forearms. It's also perfectly fine to do this if it feels like it's too much pressure with a blanket or a bolster, is just to get rid of it and just be flat on your belly. Another variation is to turn this the long way. That way your chest will be on there and it will lessen the pressure on the belly. So if I were to hold this, I would do it this way just because I, you know, you heard about my dinner. So find a comfortable um, edge for you. Then once you're comfortable, begin to inquire into that natural uh, movement of your breath, the natural capacity of your inhalation to descend down into your belly and into your low back. And as your mind settles into this rhythm, just notice how this particular movement of the breath feels for you. What does it feel like on your nervous system to allow the breath to massage downwardly into the abdomen? Is this a familiar place for you to take the breath into? Now, follow your exhale, and once your exhale completes naturally, see if you can pause after your exhale for about 2 to 3 seconds, just a comfortable amount for your nervous system. And then when the inhale comes in, just watch your body inhale. Try not to control it. Watch your body exhale. And then your only control is by extending that natural pause. So it's a very soft effort. Extend that natural pause for a comfortable amount. Take another breath with that pause after exhale. Then for the last minute here, let go of all effort and simply stay and receive your breath. Notice what your breath feels like now after you've cultivated a pause after the exhale. Has the quality of your breath changed in any way? Give yourself 3 more rounds of breath here in crocodile. Your pace, your timing. You can slowly support yourself out and maybe stretch your back out in child's pose first. And then we're going to come onto the back again. And we're building this pause of the breath into a diaphragm stretch next. So I think my diaphragm stretch will be a little limited because my belly is taking up too much space, but we'll see. So um, we're all gonna come down in the constructive breaths again. And let me. So first, we're gonna come into a different pattern of breath to get this diaphragm stretch. So another major movement of the breath is instead of going, it actually goes in all directions, actually, like the breath will, it's flexible and it expands in all directions. But one of the primary ones is also going sideways into the ribs and flaring the ribs outwardly and upwardly as we inhale. So we want to find this pattern next. So you can place your hands on the sides of your ribs. And then as you inhale here, imagine the sides of your ribs expanding. And then as you exhale, just allowing and feeling how the ribs soften and contract inwardly on the exhale. And take a couple more breaths, just finding that lateral movement of your breath. And try to slow down the exhale so that it is equal with the inhale. Both faces are roughly the same length. And then we're layering in the, the diaphragm stretch, and it's also a great stretch for the low back. So you're going to place the hands on your upper thighs with the heel of the hand resting maybe on the pubic bones here and or the iliac crest. And your thumbs are on the inside of your thighs, your fingers tips are on the outside. As you're doing this kind of like decompression on your low back, try not to overly arch your low back and try not to tuck uh, your pelvis. So you want to keep more of a neutral spine. So you can place your hands here and then come back to your rib breath. When you exhale, exhale really fast so that you deflate your lungs. And then you pause your breathing. No breathing as you push your thighs away to traction your low back wall. And as you do that, take a fake rib breath. So pretend like you're inhaling, so you're flaring your ribs open, but you're not breathing. And what that does is it creates a weird pull in your gut. And that's your diaphragm flying up because of vacuum in the lungs, and it creates a kind of a massage for your viscera. And then you hold that pause for as long as is comfortable for your body. And then you can release the push, release the breathing, take a free breath. And then we'll do that like maybe 3 to 5 times, depending on our pace. Okay, so it's a weird thing. So I'll guide you through it one more time. You take a rib breath. You exhale really fast. And then you start to push your thighs away. And then no breathing. Flare your ribs open so that it will stretch your diaphragm. And then hang out in that pause for as long as you're comfortable. You want to have your chin kind of tucked down too. It's going to help seal the vacuum. And then release the self tractioning with the hands. Sometimes if it feels comfortable, you can just go from round to round. If your breath needs a reset, allow it a free breath in between. Good. And then after your, one more round of that passive diaphragm stretch, release all effort and just take a moment and tune into yourself, into your viscera, into your breath. So one of the reasons why we're focusing on this area is it tends to be where we put stress as well. And this practice is meant to help us become aware of how much or how little tension might be here, and hopefully to help us release the tension in this area as well. When you're ready, go ahead and roll on back up. And we're going to change the orientation to gravity with this practice. So we just did that practice of that diaphragm stretch lying on our backs. Now we're going to do it in a twisted position on our bellies. So you can grab your blanket or pillows, and I folded it into a square because I want to focus the pressure on the abdomen rather than being in this longer shape. So we're coming into a belly down position with more pressure on the belly. So you can start with on your right side, so right outer hip towards the bolster, knees bent, and then you come down and you just nuzzle your prop into your belly and you come down. And then we're going to essentially do the same weird breathing practice in this new position. Let's say you come down, make yourself extra comfortable. And again, we're only doing it for 3 to 5 times, depending on our pace. So usually 3 times is good enough to create a change in the nervous system. So inhale, flaring the ribs open. Exhaling really fast, deflate your lungs. Take a fake inhale, flare your ribs open, and just see what happens to your belly. So here you don't have the push of the hands to increase that stretch, but see if you can flare those ribs a little bit wider. And then listen to your body. Whenever it wants to inhale, allow it to inhale. And again, if it feels comfortable to move from round to round without a free breath, you can do so. If it adds any kind of tension to your breathing, to your body, to move from round to round, take a free breath. So it's really important that we don't create any tension in our breathing practices. And then after you've done about 3 rounds, could be a little bit more, maybe 4, 5, we want to have a moment where we simply rest. So release the effort and feel. Checking in on the quality of your belly sensations, quality of your low back, breath here. Take another breath here on this first side of the twist. When you're ready to, you can slowly transition out of the first side. And we'll come and do the second side of this belly down twist. And once you're there, do another 3 rounds of that passive diaphragm stretch. So in classical yoga, it's called Uddiyana Bandha, and it's usually done actively, where uh, we're consciously pulling the diaphragm in and up. But here, we're actually doing it passively. We're allowing the diaphragm to move because we're focusing on flaring the ribs out with that pause. So you find your rhythm with this practice. Little fine tuning here is become aware of the neck angle. If your chin is, not tucked in, if it's kind of further away from your throat, it might be hard to contain the the vacuum in the lungs, and it will be harder to get that stretch. Just do 3 for time's sake here on this side, and then let go and receive yourself as you are. No more effort, and just simply be here for another minute. Let yourself breathe 3 more rounds on this second side. When you're ready, you can support yourself out. We're coming into a final position. And in this position, since we did all that abdominal massage work, we're going to open the space here. So I'm going to guide us through a really simple supported bound angle. But if you want to prop yourself up higher, you're welcome to do that. So the simple bound angle is you're just going to be on your back, and you can have your feet together, knees bent and out to the side, and you support the knees so that the inner thigh muscles, the hip muscles can really relax. And you can put your blanket over your belly. So the weight there will allow the space to relax better. And there's, other variations of this where the body is propped up at an angle. If you prefer that, you're welcome to do that. But the idea is we want to open up this belly area and allow the breath to move down into it naturally, more easily. Make little adjustments so that you're super comfortable. You want to be able to eventually just stay in stillness for the last 10 minutes. Check the angle on your neck as well so that it's, more neutral. The chin is maybe slightly tucked, but not aggressively tucked. So if it's aggressively tucked, it might mean that the head support is too high. And then if the chin is like, if you're in a flip top position with your head, you might want to prop your head up a little higher. And the reason being is we don't want to strain the neck muscles, but also if the head is not in alignment, it's going to disturb the breathing as well. So we'll do a subtle practice, all this belly work and diaphragm work. We'll place the hands back on the belly. And so sounding will also be helpful for releasing the nervous system, allowing the vibration to soothe the 10th cranial nerve, the vagus nerve, which is the main nerve of the relaxation response. You're going to do a hum sound in the belly. And you can take the tip of your tongue to your upper palate. So it'll make a lower hum sound. And then you want to hum, take a pause, take a breath in between, and then 3 times like that here. Feel that breath in between, just letting the body breathe. And then let that inhale come into you as well. And then take another hum sound here. And just being curious, receive and feel to another round of that hum sound. So humming vowel sounds like that extends the exhale, as well as introducing that vibration. And then let go. Just being curious, noticing how your body feels now, tracking the subtle movement of your breath through your tissues, to your torso. Allow your eyes to soften, relax your jaw, tongue. I'm going to share a poem by Naomi Shihab Nye. It's called Kindness. Before you know what kindness really is, you must lose things. Feel the future dissolve in a moment, like salt in a weakened broth. What you held in your hand, what you counted and carefully saved, all this must go so you know how desolate the landscape can be between the regions of kindness. How you ride and ride, thinking the bus will never stop. The passengers eating maize and chicken will stare out the window forever. Before you learn the tender gravity of kindness, you must travel where the Indian in a white poncho lies dead by the side of the road. You must see how this could be you, how he too was someone who journeyed through the night with plans and the simple breath that kept him alive. Before you know kindness as the deepest thing inside, you must know sorrow as the other deepest thing. You must wake up with sorrow. You must speak it. You must speak to it till your voice catches the thread of all sorrows and you see the size of the cloth. Then it is only kindness that makes sense anymore. Only kindness that ties your shoes and sends you out into the day to gaze at bread. Only kindness that raises its head from the crowd of the world to say, "It is I you have been looking for," and then goes with you everywhere like a shadow or a friend. Recall your intention. Was that quality that you wanted to connect with through practice? See if you can sense for that quality somewhere in your body right now. So, what does being peaceful feel like? Calm, supported. Once you've recognized that quality somewhere in your body, is it possible for you to soften so that you can receive this quality more? So that you can feel this felt sense or this essence vibrate through your cells. Your pace. Introduce little movements whenever you're ready to. Step by step, come out of the pose, maybe taking the thighs back up, rolling over to one side. And we'll meet up for in a comfortable seat. We'll do our mini meditation. And come back and check in and notice how your whole body feels like. Notice the quality of your natural breathing. Notice the quality of your mind, your emotions. And then notice that you contain all of those changeful aspects of yourself. Noticing yourself as that awareness, presence. And notice if awareness can come and go. If awareness has any beginning or any end. Reminding yourself to occasionally drop back in to your essence nature, to the part of you that is unchanged. And we'll meet the hands together at the heart. Full breath to heart center. Bow. the head to the heart. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. So I'll unmute us and you can check in if you'd like.
Thank you, Anshi.
Yep, thank you. Lovely.
My
That felt
pleasure. How was that abdominal work?
It was good for me.
Not too like sometimes it can feel like a little, I don't know. Sometimes people, get dizzy or just weird little side effects, but it was okay. No.
It's good for me.
Good. Okay. Yeah, it's been helpful for me. I mentioned in that email I was having abdominal pain and I was, trying to take care of it, like just from lots of different angles, thinking it was food or whatever. And then when I thought of it as a stress thing and changed my tactic with it, just becoming more mindful and breathing, like doing more stress reduction things for it. It actually worked a lot better. So I think it's a common place where we might store stress. So
Yeah, I agree.
yeah.
So, Anchi, how many more classes will you have?
I was just thinking, like all of us, right? We don't really know with this whole pandemic thing. So I will definitely continue, I think, into May. And then if I can, maybe I'll morph it back into an 8-week series,
Okay.
later on in the summer. Or I'll just keep it open like this. I haven't really decided. But if you have a preference, if you want to, you know, yeah. Do you have any preferences? Because I know when we do the series, it's a little bit more thematically, focused.
I'd be happy with a series.
Yeah.
I'm happy the way things are going right now too, but series would be good.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's Tracy.
Yeah, hey. Thanks,
Hey.
Anshi.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm glad you could make it, Tracy.
Yes.
It was so today's practice is definitely not for beginners, and you just kind of like dove into the
Yeah.
I don't know how much experience you have, but that those breath pauses and the stretches, it's definitely, if you're, don't, yeah, we can
Yeah,
talk.
I'm new. This is my first one, so
Yeah.
yoga class.
Okay, so you just dropped in on an advanced practice.
Oh, okay, okay. All right.
Oh,
I'm
it's good
learning
to
fast
see you.
then. Yeah.
Yeah. Email me and tell me more, like if you have questions about it, Tracy.
Okay. All right, definitely.
I'm glad you made it.
Yeah, thank you.
And
Thank you for
Tina.
a little peace and normalcy. We missed you since you moved so much.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Nice
But this
to
is
see
so cool that we can like
Yeah, this is
class.
almost the real thing, Tina.
Yeah.
it's close.
Yes, it is.
And
Well, have
then
to
we
figure out-
get our pets like coming in.
Yeah, we had the dog and the cat zooming through there.
Yeah, I think I saw some of your pets, and then my cat, she's always on the wrong side of the door, so
I think our dog enjoyed the calm, meditative.
Yes,
he's backed out now. It's like, yeah, that was good.
He
Keep going.
enjoyed the calming words.
yeah, good. good.
That was a great poem too, on. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I read it like many years ago, and then somebody shared it with me this week, and it just seems really apropos for the time.
Yes.
Mhm.
So I will send it out on the email with the recording.
Great.
Okay.
All right, Anchi, next week I will see you all. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Have a
good-
you.
Yeah, thanks. Okay.
How are you, Amanda? I didn't get to.
Oh, I'm just kind of checking in. I have a lot of GI issues.
Oh, what?
GI issues.
Oh, wow.
Um,
Yeah.
I can relate to stress. I was hospitalized about a year and a half ago for I had an acute stress event and my whole GI tract just stopped. And
Mm.
I was hospitalized for 3 days, and ever since then I've had a lot of trouble. Like my Agni is really low, and a lot of irregularity. I'm working with SIBO and IBS. I don't know if you know about those things.
Mhm, mhm.
So I've been doing a lot of self abdominal massage.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be good for me to like inspiration to try to work with those techniques a little bit more. Like I felt like I'll cry right now because like I feel like I'm gonna cry right here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
I feel like a rabbit. Like, their GI tracts are so sensitive and they're like
Yeah.
the prey species. They're like
Yeah.
but it was good, and it was really I had just eaten lunch right before, so, and this is like the technically it's supposed to be when your digestion is the strongest, but I struggle the most after eating lunch. Um,
Mhm.
so it was like kind of fighting a little bit of nausea and just like kind of working with things gently, but it was good. My nervous system